How you doing, everybody? Good news, everyone. A certain bookstore filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and they're finally closing the last about 400 stores nationwide. And I live in an area where they're just shutting them down recently too. It's one of those days. How do you tie this into hip-hop discussion? Well, and Boulders definitely had every bookstore has a selection of hip-hop books, novels to some degree, history definitely. And now you're going to have a good chunk of books out there that aren't going to be seen as much, at least in a physical form. Which, maybe like a casual reader, every so often, that was the spot to go to, one of the spots. It was sort of like that big mainstream type of bookstore out there, along with Barnes & Noble and maybe Walden Books. It disappoints me for the fact that it's this one, and then recently you had like the Blockbusters and more, video stores closing down as well. And if you want to go further back, a lot of CD stores too went out. At least they're not as, out there as much now. Like saying FYE is it depends on how a certain mall style is, if it's there or not. We got music, movies, and bookstores basically getting phased out. I wouldn't say necessarily all over because of the internet. I would say to definitely an extent, but just generally by people knowing the fact that they could take advantage of the internet and say, hey, I could just get this for free. Why do I even have to bother going to a store? And that problem with that is you're not giving artists their money, their kind of revenue to keep producing art. Now granted, yeah, like FYE and stores like that, they might be more major label type of CDs. And in that sense, I mean, if you have to, or if you feel like you need to, do your thing and support that artist on the label, but definitely go for the more independent folks out there who are making music or trying to and can't really sell when everyone's downloading. I mean, the biggest example I always think about is with the Lupe's Food and Liquor album. That was apparently downloaded 1 million times before it even came out, the original form of it. He had to change it up before it got released in 2006. And just think about that for a second, how that would have affected maybe his later albums, possibly, with sales or notoriety, and even a lasers. You never know. I guess you could say I feel like the old guy, just kind of reminiscing always about, or now I have to reminisce because this is going on recently. It makes me feel bad for people who aren't going to kind of grow up into that field of knowing they could go somewhere to find what they want, if that makes sense. They won't have that memory of when they grow up, oh yeah, I bought that record here and I remember looking at the cover and it was amazing, or I bought that comic book at that place over here and it was a great experience. The guy behind the cash register was really cool and he recommended me some other stuff to look out for, and we became buddies. People are going to miss out on being a customer in a store rather than just being a customer online where no one can see your face and you don't see any faces back. There's that missed opportunity to kind of make friends in the things you like and your interests and hobbies. Wouldn't that just be kind of part of the joy of your interests and hobbies slightly? To be able to communicate with others who like books, who enjoy the type of music you listen to, or in the same sections. We're missing that opportunity to hang out with folks at a concert or even a book club. With Boulders getting knocked out, it's definitely a good possibility Barnes & Noble's next. Where I live, at least, Walden Books is definitely out. Not even the bigger malls have them. So yeah, man, I'm just worried about people missing out on those type of experiences outside of their houses. Is that wrong? Is that just my older self talking? Whatever older self that may be. Just take care and just go outside and meet people who like the stuff you like. I'm still trying to do that. Peace.